Hi, this is Nicole from Cotton Cuts. I am back with two of my three daughters.
My name is Lorelai again. This is Annabelle.
Who are you?
Annabelle.
She's Annabelle.
Reagan is not here because she's listening to
Reagan
this.
is preoccupied right now. So today we're going to talk dresses, and lots of little girls and adults love dresses. So today we are going to use the Modern Makers box of woven fabric, and we are going to be making this dress from Little Lizard King. It is Birmingham. This is not Cotton Cuts fabric. This is just an example of another one I've made.
From the house.
Yes, this is a very simple, great beginner pattern, and if buttonholes worry you, that is not a bother at all because we will be using snaps. So we are going to get started using the fabric from the Modern Makers box from Cotton Cuts. Before we begin sewing, we want to cut out our pattern pieces. This pattern consists of a front bodice and lining, a back bodice and lining, a bottom bodice as well as lining, a placket, and one skirt front and then one skirt back. So first we're going to begin by using our clips and attaching our front bodice to our back bodice. So we are going to put our clips right at the shoulder seams, and then we are going to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance, which means that our needle is going to be all the way to the left, and we are going to sew right at those shoulder seams. We're going to repeat this step for the lining, and then we're going to press our seams open. Are you ready?
Is it sewing time?
It is!
Yay! 1, 2. Oops. Okay, now we're gonna start sewing.
Okay, let's line it up. Okay.
Remember, put your press foot down, and then remember, you have to start with 1, 2, 3 with the back stitch. 1, 2, 3, stop, and then keep on going. 1, 2, 3, stop.
Okay, so now we're going to press our seams open on both the main fabric and our lining pieces right at the shoulder. Just like that. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and we are going to line up our front and back bodice pieces. Then we're going to take our clips and we are going to clip around the back right here, the neckline, and both armholes. When we're done with that, we're going to go to the machine and we are going to sew that again with a 1/2 inch seam allowance.
Okay, remember, before you begin, when you just start at the beginning, you have to say 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The back stitch.
So I am doing all of the curves because I have not gone over that with Lorelai yet.
I only know how to ask you to pick those. That will be one of our videos soon, right, Mom?
No, actually, I think Teresa might be doing pillowcases. So now what we're going to do is we are going to clip all of our corners, and then we are also going to clip right around where our neck hole is and our armhole. One way of doing that is if we use our pinking shears, which everyone at Cotton Cuts knows I am obsessed with my pinking shears. And what they do is it allows the cotton to give a little stretch so that when we turn it inside out, or right side out I should say, we will have a nice,
right now
it's inside out, right? We will have a nice neckline and a nice armholes. Okay, so once we've done that, we are going to turn our bodice right side out by pulling it through the shoulders. So when we have turned it inside out, we're gonna make sure those corners are nicely
She meant right
pushed through.
side in.
Right side out, yes. We're going to push those corners nicely through, which we will get a nice corner since we snipped those. And then we're gonna go ahead back to our iron and we are going to press this so that it is nice, so that it looks very nicely, so then we can go back and we can top stitch. Okay, so now we go back to with our iron and we are going to give this a nice press so that it lays beautiful.
So now we're gonna top stitch along the back, the neck and the back.
Great, and when we top stitch, we want our needle all the way to the right. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Mom, what is this?
So this is going to be the bottom of the bodice, which is your top part. So we are going to work on attaching that right now. How does that sound?
Great.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to face our lining side up. Then we're going to take the back of our bodice and we are going to line it up just like so. Then we are going to take our main fabric and we are going to sandwich that right in between, just like that. Okay? And then we are going to do our clips and we are going to clip it basically in an L, just like Lorelai. And then we are going to...
My name says it's an L.
Yep, we're gonna repeat
Just
this.
like a pillowcase.
Yep, we're gonna repeat this on the other side, and then we're gonna take it to our machine and we are going to sew that L just like so.
Now we are going to sew the L. Remember, put your presser foot down always before sewing, or your sewing machine will get all jammed up. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we are going to trim our seam allowance as well as clip our corners. This will give us a nice corner when we turn it the right side out. We have that done. We are going to turn this inside out and we are going to look at our nice bottom of our back bodice and we are going to give that a nice pressing with the iron real quick. We're using our lining fabric as the main on the back so that it kind of breaks it up and it gives it a little something different.
When Mom is ironing, I made a necklace.
Now we're going to top stitch the bottom of our bodice in an L right over where we had just sewn.
Oh, what's next? I thought this is supposed to be easy.
It is an easy dress, silly. So now
why is it taking so long to make?
Because dresses take a long time. They take about an hour on the easy side and up to 3 for the more difficult. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to take our lining fabric and flip it up on the front bodice. And then we're gonna take our back bodice and we are going to fold it over onto the front.
You do it with all of them.
Right, thank you, Lorelai. And then this back part that we have that we can still see, we are going to fold it over on top, just like so, And then we are going to do this on both sides.
But that doesn't look like a dress. Mom, but that doesn't look like a dress.
It will look like a dress when we're done, silly.
Okay.
So now we're going to take this back to the machine and we are going to sew what we just clipped with
You meant I am.
Yeah, so you are with a 1/2-inch seam allowance, and then we are just going to trim our seam allowance, and then our bodice part will be done.
I did not know that because I never made a dress.
Right, well let's go ahead and sew that.
Okay, let's go. So right when you start, you go 1, 2, 3, then you notice the machine's going backwards. And then you just keep on going until you reach the end.
Okay, so now we're gonna trim our seam allowance.
Just like we did before. Just again. So, go.
I'm just using my pinking shears just because my other scissors are not with me to go through all these layers.
And she loves pinking shears so much.
I do love
She did say that. Do it.
Hold on. There, it's stuck. Okay. All right. Okay, so now I turned our bodice right side out after I sewed that, and now our bodice is complete. We will be adding the snaps in just a bit, but if you notice, it makes a triangle in back, just like our fabric from the Modern Maker's box.
So now I kind of like that it's a triangle because it's really cool.
Exactly. So now we're gonna put this to the side, and we're gonna take our skirt out. So right here we have two skirts. One is our front and one is our back. They're the same. It doesn't matter which one you choose to be the front or the back. And what we're going to do is we're going to unfold this, and then we are going to put them right sides together. Then if you have a serger, you are going to serge.
My mom taught me to do right sides together with a toothpick pillow, I think.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to serge these together, the right side, using our 1/2-inch seam allowance. If you don't have a serger, you can use a zigzag stitch. The serger just gives it a more professional finish. After we serge it together, we are going to, this is going to be the bottom of our skirt. We are going to fold it over 1/4 inch in iron, then fold it over another 1/4 inch in iron, and then we are going to sew that, and that will be the seam for the bottom of our skirt. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to serge it, and then I will be right back, just because I don't have my serger right in the room that we are taping.
And it would be really dangerous to do it on the carpet.
Yes. So now if you look, I have serged this edge, and it looks all nice and professional. You can also, like I said, you could use a zigzag stitch on your machine as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this up about 1/4 inch, and we are going to just iron it. And we are going to do this all around the perimeter of the skirt.
Now we are going to top stitch our skirt and sew the hem.
Yep, we're going to sew the hem of the skirt. Alrighty,
Okay,
so let's go.
So Mom, are you sure we're almost done? Because I can't wait to wear it.
I'm sure we're almost done. We just have to make the placket and gather the skirt. Then we're going to attach it to this top.
What is the placket?
The placket is basically, you use this in wovens and you create a little slit down the middle of the skirt so that we can pull it up easier over your hips.
What does it look like this?
Well, so that's what we're going to talk about right now.
Okay.
Okay, so basically you want to locate the middle of your skirt, which is right here. Then I took my ruler and my disappearing ink pen, and I drew a line that was 2 3/4. Then I drew a 1/4 inch box all the way around and created a V. What we're going to do now is we are going to cut along that line and along that V.
It doesn't even look like a shape. The bottom almost looks like a triangle.
It does look like a triangle right now, huh? You were asking what this hole is?
Yes.
So what we're going to do is we are going to separate this so it lays flat. So I'm just going to turn my skirt this way.
Because right now it just looks like that that our dress would be like a big mistake. It wouldn't even look like it.
Right. So what we're going to do is we have our placket piece right here. We are going to take the placket side is going to be touching the wrong side of the fabric. And we are going to just go ahead and line this up and use our clips. If you notice, we have a W that has formed right here. When we go to our machine, we are going to use a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and we are going to make sure that we sew underneath that W. And we're going to try and go slow so that we don't get a pucker right there.
Mom, what is a pucker?
A pucker is when the fabric kind of bunches up and we don't want it to do that. So we're going to try our best not to do that. But if it happens a little, it's homemade and it's okay. You'll barely notice it.
You know you'll have to help me with this part.
Okay, well then let's go to the machine and do it.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so now what I've done is I have flipped my placket up so that now we see the wrong side of the fabric. We are going to fold it over and iron. And then we are going to fold it over again. So now it is covering that seam that was right there. And we are going to iron that. And then we're going to go ahead and we are going to stitch right across there. So I am just going to put a stitch right across there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to trim the excess of the placket.
She was right that you could barely see it, because I can't even see it.
Well, that's good. So now it equals. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take the left side of the placket and we are going to tuck it behind here, and we're just going to put a little stitch right there so it bases it in place. And then I will show you then what happens. So I'm going to base that. I'll be right back.
Mom, are we gonna attach it now?
We are. First we have to, I know, right?
Then it'll be done.
Yeah, so first what we have to do is we have to do a gathering stitch. A gathering stitch is what gives it that nice
Mommy, can I draw?
ruffles.
Mommy, can I try right there,
No,
Mommy?
not right now, but hold on, sweetheart. So what we're gonna do is when we do a gathering stitch, we set our stitch length to the largest it can. So Lorelai and I are going to, we are going to run our gathering stitch.
Mommy, can I draw in the dark? Can I?
All right, so Lorelai and I are going to run our gathering stitch right now for you. Alrighty, let's go. So now we're gonna gather from one side of the placket to the other. Remember with the gathering stitch, we do not backstitch.
But you have to go this slow as you go.
All right, let's go. Okay, so now we're gonna gather. So what we do is a little tip. So normally you're supposed to run 2 gathering stitches all the way across. For time's sake, I just do the 1. And also another little tip is, so what we're gonna do is we take where our bobbin thread is, which is on the underside. If you take it from both sides, you can gather in half the time. So if you notice, I do this, straighten it out.
Well, that looks really cool, Mom.
Right, it goes so much faster when we are gathering from both sides at the same time. So now we have this gathered. What we're gonna do is we need to attach it to the bodice. So one side is going to, of our placket is going to attach to this side. The other side is going to attach it to this side. And if you need to, you can spread your gathers out to make it fit the width of the bodice. And what you're gonna do is when you have this all clipped together, you can use your serger for a more professional finish. If you don't wanna use your serger, that is totally fine. You can use a zigzag on your sewing machine. Some people will run this on their sewing machine first before they go to their serger to kind of help hold it in place so that they don't lose any of their gathers. So that's another little tip for you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to go to my serger and I am just going to sew all the way around this. Okay, so now I'm just gonna top stitch all the way around and then we will be ready to add our snaps. We're at the last thing.
We're gonna do the snaps.
The snaps, right. And you can do snaps instead of buttonholes. So if you're a little nervous about doing buttons, snaps work perfect.
And this kind of helps you do this.
Right, yes, because we have this handy dandy from Cam Snaps. You can also get, I think, a different brand at either Joann's or your Hobby Lobby or Amazon, wherever you would like to go.
Wherever they sell it.
Yes, wherever they sell it.
And she has a flower decorated one, which I kind of like it.
I know, I like it too. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's add our snaps. We're going to use this and we are going to poke a hole where we would like our snaps to go. So now it's going through all layers of the fabric. So Lorelai has chosen, she wants the blue snap on top. We put our blue snap in, just like that, and then on the back, we are going to use this. Then we take our Cam Snap pliers,
and then
put it under.
Squeeze.
Oh, hold on, it's not in yet. Now we can squeeze, and we squeeze really, 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 really tough. So then we take the other one.
And do it the same thing.
Yep, we put it through. And we put our Cam Snap plier underneath again. Hold on, let's line it up. Okay, now press, 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 press. All right, and there we go. So then, it snaps right at the top. Okay, it's a little tough at the beginning, but it unsnaps. So there you go, instead of a button, you have a snap. So we're gonna go ahead and we are going to do the two at the bottom now. So that concludes our making a dress video, but before I hold it up to Lorelai, we did kind of notice something a little off.
It's a little bit funny.
Yeah.
Now it's just gonna be a top instead of a dress.
And why is it gonna be a top? Because the first part of reading the directions is to make sure it's
so
long enough.
Because it's so short.
And we accidentally cut it at the top length.
It's a top.
We accidentally cut it at the top length instead of the dress length. So now Lorelai has a beautiful top. And then look at the back. And we, like I said, we made this using the Modern Maker's box from Cotton Cuts.
Which, it is okay if you also made a mistake. Just make sure that it just say to yourself, oh, they made a mistake.
Right, you make a mistake, but you can still wear it because it's a top now instead of a dress. So thank you so much.
My little sister Annabelle could still not wear it.
Right, it's a little too big. It might be the right length for my 3-year-old, but definitely it will be too big around the width. So thank you again for tuning in with us, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye. Next time we're gonna do totes.